This is what I saw this morning when I logged into Twitter. This picture of all the different press Madeleine McCann stories. I think we've spent enough time praying at the altar of a girl who disappeared 13 years ago, especially bearing in mind what's going on at the moment. I think all the newspapers who've been bleating about Black Lives Mattering have shown their true colours by running this story. And even Philip Schofield admitted the Black Lives Matter segment on TV was cut short for the Madeleine McCann story. If you care so much, the media, about what is going on, how many black managers, directors, how many black journalists do you have in your media company, in your employ? How many of your cleaners are black? 13 years ago, if this was a black family, if this was a black child, we wouldn't be getting this. How can this massive movement, this global movement, have now been shifted for a blonde, blue-eyed white girl? Or maybe that's the answer, isn't it? There are all sorts of stories about why black children go missing, all sorts of incorrect stories that come from a racist white supremacist hegemony. What's happened recently is, over the past week, is an important chance for us to redress 400 years, 500 years of, of terrorism and hatred. I've learned a lot this week. One of the biggest things I've learned this week is that it's not about white people helping black people in that sense of, I mean, obviously you can still be an advocate, but not directing black people into how they should get equal rights or how this should happen. White people need to talk to white people, to challenge white people's perceptions, to call out their friends and their employers and their employees and their family. I've been working within the black community, particularly Tottenham, Brixton and Hackney, for the past 15 years with community cohesion through dance, dance mentoring and support. But really, as a white person, it's sending the wrong message. Black communities need to be self-sustained, and they shouldn't be relying. They shouldn't have to rely on white people, and they can't. And until we address the racism, the institutional racism in this country, they can't take that ownership. So it's no good just donating. It's no good attending a rally as a white person or a protest. You have to empower and that involves giving up your own power. White people, white institutions, you need to listen to black people. For the past week, we've been talking. Oh, how can we help? You can do stuff yourself. You can get involved. You can buy literature. You can support black businesses and organisations. You can inform yourself. In 1966, that documentary I mentioned about immigration in the BBC had said, the narrator said, so far in Britain, few things could have been so ill prepared as immigration. Well, of course, because Britain hadn't come to terms with its history of turning black bodies into cotton or sugar or tobacco. And how could we comfortably accommodate a migrant community coming to the UK from wherever when we couldn't even admit our history of dehumanizing slaughter? You know, any parent's loss of a child is tragic. My parents suffered the loss of a child, although he wasn't as young as this one. What is important now is not this obsession with Madeleine McCann and paedophiles, but redressing the balance of what this country and its place in institutionalized racism and murder for 500 years is. I'm not going to go on about it anymore. If it makes you feel uncomfortable, please feel free to unfollow me. I have no interest in having any friends or family who cannot see we're at a critical point now where we can make a difference.